crystal chandeliers sparkled like 1,000 diamonds above the grand ballroom. James Blackwell adjusted his bow tie and smiled at the photographers. Another charity gala, another check to write, another evening of pretending he enjoyed these events. At 38, he had built a tech empire that made him one of the youngest billionaires in the country. But tonight, like most nights, he felt oddly empty despite being surrounded by hundreds of people. "Darling, smile more. The cameras love you," Natasha Pierce whispered in his ear, her perfectly manicured hand gripping his arm. His fiancée looked stunning in her designer gown, every inch the socialite she had been raised to be. They had been together for 2 years, engaged for 6 months, and the wedding was just 8 weeks away. "I'm smiling," James replied, though he knew his smile probably looked as forced as it felt. "Try harder. This is for children's education, remember? We need to look like we care." Natasha's voice had that edge to it, the one that appeared more frequently lately, but James pushed the thought away. Pre-wedding jitters, he told himself. Everyone got them. Across the room, 26-year-old Zara Williams carried a tray of champagne glasses, weaving carefully between guests who barely noticed her existence. She'd been working for the catering company for 3 months now, taking any shift she could get. Medical school wasn't going to pay for itself, and the loans were already crushing. But she was close, so close to her dream of becoming a doctor. "Just 1 more year. Table 12 needs more champagne," her supervisor barked, and Zara nodded, moving quickly toward the VIP section where the wealthiest guests sat. She had learned to make herself invisible at these events. "Don't make eye contact. Don't speak unless spoken to. Definitely don't spill anything on someone who could buy and sell your entire life with pocket change." The rules were simple, and Zara followed them perfectly. But tonight, something felt off. Zara had always been observant. Her professors said it would make her a great doctor someday. She noticed things other people missed, small details, tiny inconsistencies. And right now, she was noticing Natasha Pierce. The woman was beautiful, no question about that. But there was something in her body language that made Zara's instincts prickle. Natasha kept glancing toward the bar area, her eyes sharp and focused even while she smiled and chatted with other guests. She excused herself from James's side, telling him she needed to powder her nose. Zara watched as Natasha didn't head toward the restroom at all. Instead, she made her way to a quiet corner near the service bar, where one of the other servers stood waiting. The man looked nervous, sweating despite the cool air conditioning. Natasha leaned in close, speaking rapidly. Zara couldn't hear the words, but she could see the intensity in Natasha's expression. Something changed hands. A small envelope, maybe. Zara wasn't sure. But the server nodded several times, his face pale, before hurrying away toward the main bar. Zara told herself to mind her own business. Whatever was happening, it wasn't her problem. She had enough to worry about without getting involved in rich people's drama, but that nagging feeling wouldn't go away. The feeling that something was very wrong. Natasha returned to James's side, all smiles now, touching his cheek affectionately. The perfect fiancée again. James seemed to relax around her, and for a moment Zara felt silly for being suspicious. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe she was just tired. But then Natasha did something that made Zara's blood run cold. She walked to the bar herself, personally selecting 2 champagne flutes from the dozens lined up on silver trays. But she didn't take them from the regular service area. She took them from a separate tray that the nervous server had just placed down, a tray that had been nowhere near the other drinks. Natasha carried both glasses carefully, saying something to James that made him laugh. She handed him one specific glass, keeping the other for herself. But Zara noticed she didn't actually drink from hers. She just held it, pressed it to her lips, but never tilted it back. "We should toast," Natasha's voice carried across the room, louder now, attracting attention. "To us, to our future together. To forever." James raised his glass, looking into Natasha's eyes with genuine affection. "To forever," he echoed. Zara moved closer, her heart pounding. She didn't know what she was doing or why. Medical school had taught her about pharmacology, about how substances could be introduced into drinks, about how certain combinations could be deadly. She had also learned to trust her gut when something seemed medically wrong, and right now everything felt wrong. As James brought the glass to his lips, Zara saw it. Just for a second, in the light of the chandelier above, there was a faint, oily film on the surface of the liquid, almost invisible, but there. Champagne didn't look like that. It shouldn't look like that. Zara's medical training kicked into overdrive. Her mind raced through possibilities. What substances left that kind of residue? What could dissolve in alcohol but still show that telltale shimmer? The answers that came to her were all bad. Very bad, she didn't think. She just moved. "Don't drink that," Zara shouted, lunging forward. Her hand connected with the crystal glass just as it touched James's lips. The champagne flute flew from his hand, spinning through the air in what seemed like slow motion. It hit the marble floor with a crash that echoed through the suddenly silent ballroom, shattering into 1,000 glittering pieces. Champagne spread across the white marble like a golden stain, mixing with shards of crystal that caught the light. The entire ballroom froze. Hundreds of eyes turned to stare. A server had just assaulted a billionaire. The shocked silence was deafening. Zara's breathing came hard and fast as she realized what she had done. She had just destroyed her job, possibly her entire future. But as she looked down at the spilled liquid spreading across the floor, she saw that oily film again, more visible now in the puddle. She wasn't wrong. Something was in that drink. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" Natasha's voice cut through the silence like a knife, sharp and cold. Her face had transformed from loving fiancé to something else entirely. Something angry and dangerous. James stood frozen, champagne dripping from his hand where droplets had splashed. He looked confused, staring at Zara as if trying to understand what had just happened. "Security!" Natasha screamed. "This woman just attacked my fiancé. Someone call the police." 2 large security guards were already moving toward Zara. She could see her supervisor's horrified face across the room. Her job was definitely gone, possibly her freedom too. But Zara stood her ground, pointing at the spilled liquid on the floor. "Look at it," she said, her voice shaking but determined. "Really look at it. That's not just champagne." James finally moved, holding up his hand to stop the security guards. He stepped closer to Zara, his eyes sharp and intelligent despite the chaos. "What are you talking about?" Zara swallowed hard. "I'm a medical student. I've studied pharmacology. There's something in that drink, something that doesn't belong there. Look at the surface. See that film?" Natasha laughed, but it sounded forced. "This is ridiculous. She's clearly trying to get attention. Or money, that's what this is about, isn't it? You recognized James and thought you'd create a scene to extort us." But James wasn't listening to Natasha anymore. He was crouching down, examining the spilled champagne. His expression changed as he saw what Zara was talking about. "Everyone step back from this area," he said quietly. Then louder, "Nobody touch this. And someone get me a sample container. Now." The head of security arrived within minutes carrying what looked like evidence bags and sample containers. James had already cleared a circle around the spilled champagne, keeping everyone at least 10 feet away. Zara stood awkwardly to the side, very aware that she was still technically under suspicion. Natasha's perfectly applied makeup couldn't hide the fury in her eyes. "James, this is absurd. You're going to take the word of some random server over me? Your fiancé?" "I'm taking everyone's word seriously right now," James said, not looking at her. His voice had changed. It was colder, more focused. This was the man who had built a billion-dollar empire, not the smiling figurehead from the photographs. "Including yours. So tell me exactly where you got these glasses. From the bar, obviously. Where else would I get champagne?" Natasha's voice had a sharp edge now. "Which bartender handed them to you?" Natasha hesitated just for a second. But Zara caught it, and more importantly, so did James. "I don't know. I didn't ask his name. They all look the same in their uniforms." "That's interesting," James said quietly. "Because I've been coming to these events for years, and I've never seen you personally get drinks from the bar. You always have servers bring them to you." The crowd around them had grown larger, everyone straining to hear what was happening. Camera phones were out, though security was trying to stop people from recording. This was going to be all over social media within the hour. Zara's supervisor pushed through the crowd, his face red with embarrassment and anger. "Miss Williams, you need to come with me right now. You're fired, effective immediately." "She's not going anywhere," James said firmly. "I need her to explain what she saw. Medical expertise might be important here." "Medical expertise?" Natasha laughed again, but it sounded hollow. "She's a caterer, James. She's probably lying about being a medical student to sound more credible." Zara pulled out her wallet with shaking hands and showed James her student ID from the university medical school. Third year. I'm specializing in emergency medicine and toxicology. James studied the ID, then looked at Zara with new interest. What exactly did you see? The liquid has an oily film on the surface. Champagne doesn't naturally have that. It could be a lipid-soluble substance, something that dissolves in alcohol but not completely. Based on the shimmer pattern and consistency, I'd guess it's either a benzodiazepine derivative or possibly something from the barbiturate family. Both can be deadly in the right dosage. Zara's voice grew stronger as she talked about what she knew. This was her element, her expertise. Now she's making this up, Natasha protested. This is extortion. She probably planted something in the drink herself and now she's trying to be the hero. Then you won't mind if we test it, James said. He turned to his head of security. Call Dr. Richardson, wake him up if you have to. I want a full toxicology workup on this sample, and I want it done tonight. Private lab, complete discretion. James, this is our engagement celebration. Natasha tried a different approach, softening her voice. You're ruining it over nothing. Over paranoid conspiracy theories from a server who probably wants money from us. I don't want your money, Zara said quietly. I just want to make sure nobody gets hurt. James looked at her for a long moment. You knocked a drink out of my hand, potentially destroying your career because you thought I was in danger. Most people wouldn't do that. Most people would mind their own business. I'm studying to be a doctor. I can't mind my own business when someone might be in danger. It's not how I'm wired. Something shifted in James's expression. Respect, maybe, or recognition. Come with me. We're going to a private room where we can talk without all these cameras. Security will keep this area sealed until my people collect every drop of that champagne. Natasha grabbed James's arm. You can't be serious. You're going to leave our party, our guests, because of this drama? The party's over, Natasha. James's voice was ice cold now. If this woman is right, someone just tried to poison me. If she's wrong, we'll find that out too. Either way, I'm not drinking anything else tonight, and neither should anyone else here until we know what happened. He turned to the event organizers, announced that there's been a security concern. No one drinks anything else. Offer full refunds for tickets if anyone wants to leave. The organizers looked panicked but nodded, hurrying off to make the announcement. A murmur rippled through the crowd as people started to understand that something serious was happening. James led Zara toward a private room off the main ballroom, his security team following closely. Natasha came too, though no one had invited her. Her stiletto heels clicked angrily on the marble floor. The private room was smaller but just as elegant, with leather chairs and dark wood paneling. James gestured for Zara to sit, but she was too nervous. She stayed standing, her catering uniform feeling ridiculous in this setting. Tell me everything you saw tonight, James said. From the beginning. Don't leave anything out. Zara took a deep breath and started talking. She described watching Natasha meet with the nervous server, the exchange she couldn't quite see, the way Natasha had specifically chosen those two glasses from a separate tray, the fact that Natasha had pretended to drink but never actually did. With each detail, Natasha's face grew paler. Or maybe that was just the lighting. This is ridiculous, she kept saying. She's making this up. She's lying. Am I lying about the oily film on the champagne? Zara asked. Because your fiancé saw it too. It could have been anything. Residue from the glass, soap, who knows? Those glasses were crystal, professionally cleaned, and they cost more than my entire month's rent, Zara said. They don't have soap residue. James pulled out his phone. I'm looking at the guest list for tonight. Was the server you talked to on the staff? Natasha's jaw tightened. I didn't talk to any server. She's confused. She probably saw me talking to someone and invented this whole story. Then you won't mind if we pull the security footage. The color drained completely from Natasha's face now. Security footage? James, this is paranoid. You're acting crazy. Crazy would be ignoring a legitimate warning and ending up dead, James said flatly. I've made a lot of enemies building my company. People who would love to see me gone. If someone is trying to hurt me, I need to know who and why. His phone buzzed. He answered it, listened for a moment, and his face went hard. Say that again. A pause. You're absolutely certain? No chance of contamination or error? Another pause. I want everything in writing. Every detail. He ended the call and looked at Zara with an expression she couldn't quite read. That was the preliminary report from Dr. Richardson. He rushed the first round of tests. You were right. There was something in that champagne. A combination of sedatives and another compound he's still trying to identify. In the concentration he detected, he says it could have caused cardiac arrest in someone with a pre-existing heart condition. The room went completely silent. Zara felt her knees go weak with relief. She hadn't been wrong. She had saved someone's life. Natasha stood up abruptly. I need some air. This is too much. Sit down, James said, and there was steel in his voice now. Nobody's leaving this room until we figure out what happened. You can't keep me here. I'm your fiancé, not a suspect. Right now, everyone's a suspect, including you. James looked at his head of security. Get me that footage, all of it. Every camera angle from tonight. And find that server Zara mentioned. I want to talk to him. James, please, Natasha's voice cracked. You can't possibly think I would hurt you. I love you. We're getting married. Then help me figure out who did this, James said. Because right now the evidence is pointing in a very disturbing direction. Natasha's hands were shaking. She sat back down, and for the first time tonight she looked genuinely scared. But Zara couldn't tell if she was scared of being caught or scared of something else entirely. James turned to Zara. You saved my life tonight. I don't know why or how you had the courage to do what you did, but I owe you everything. Whatever happens next, I'm going to make sure you're protected. I don't need protection. I just need to know the truth comes out, Zara said. The truth always comes out, James replied, his eyes moving to Natasha, one way or another. And tonight we're going to find it. The security footage arrived on a tablet within 20 minutes. James, Zara, Natasha, and the head of security crowded around the screen. The timestamp showed earlier that evening before the champagne incident. There, Zara pointed. That's when I saw them talking. The footage showed Natasha clearly standing near the service bar area. She was speaking intently with a man in a server's uniform. Even without audio, anyone could see this wasn't a casual conversation. The man looked nervous, constantly glancing around. Natasha handed him something small, an envelope maybe, and he nodded repeatedly before walking away quickly. Who is that? James asked his security chief. Running facial recognition now, the man replied, typing rapidly on his phone. It could be anyone, Natasha said, but her voice had lost its strength. Maybe I was just asking where the restroom was. For 5 minutes? And why did you give him something? James's voice was cold, detached. Zara had seen this transformation happen over the past hour. The warm, slightly tired billionaire from earlier had been replaced by someone calculating and sharp. This was the man who had crushed competitors and built an empire. The security chief's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen and his expression darkened. That's not one of our regular staff. His name is Trevor Chen, former pharmacist. Lost his license 3 years ago for illegally dispensing controlled substances. The room went silent. Even Natasha seemed to have run out of explanations. Why would a disgraced pharmacist be working at this event? James asked quietly. And why would you be talking to him? I've never seen him before in my life, Natasha said, but she couldn't look James in the eye. Let's see the rest of the footage. James took the tablet and scrolled forward. They watched Trevor move to the main bar, speak briefly with the head bartender, and then prepare a separate tray with just 2 champagne glasses. He worked carefully, his back turned to the cameras. When he was done, he placed the tray on a counter away from the other drinks. Minutes later, Natasha appeared in the frame. She looked around, making sure no one was watching too closely, then went straight to Trevor's tray. She picked up both glasses and walked back to James. I was just getting us drinks, Natasha said weakly. That's not a crime. But you specifically went to that tray, not the others. The one Trevor prepared. James's voice was shaking now, not with fear but with rage. After giving him money, after he put something in those glasses, you can't prove he put anything in them. The camera angle doesn't show it clearly. No, but the toxicology report does. James stood up, pacing now. Someone tried to kill me tonight, Natasha, and all the evidence points to you being involved. Zara felt like she shouldn't be in the room for this. This was intimate, painful, a relationship falling apart in real time. But James had asked her to stay, and she understood why. She was the only neutral witness to everything that had happened. I want my lawyer, Natasha said suddenly. I'm not saying anything else without my lawyer present. That's your right, James agreed. But I'm not the police. Not yet, anyway. I'm your fiancé. The man you supposedly love. The man you were going to marry in 8 weeks. So before the lawyers arrive and this becomes official, I want to hear it from you. Why? Natasha stood up, her designer gown rustling. For a moment, she looked like she might run. Security moved slightly, blocking the door. She sat back down, and when she looked up, something had changed in her face. The mask had cracked. You want to know why? Her voice was different now, bitter. Because I'm tired of playing the perfect fiancé, tired of smiling for cameras and pretending I care about your boring tech company and your charity events. I've spent 2 years of my life building this relationship, and for what? You said you loved me, James said, and for the first time Zara heard real pain in his voice. I love your money. I love your houses and your cars and your private jets. I love the lifestyle. You're just the man attached to the bank account. The cruelty in her words made Zara flinch. James's face had gone white. So you decided to kill me? I decided to speed up the inevitable. You were already talking about prenups, about protecting your assets. Your lawyers were drawing up agreements that would leave me with almost nothing if we divorced. But if you died before the wedding as my fiancé, with the policies I convinced you to take out, I'd get everything. Clean, simple, and I'd be free to live my life the way I wanted. Policies? James's security chief looked alert. What policies? James pulled out his phone, making a call. Richardson, I need you to pull all my insurance information. Everything taken out in the last year. Send it to me now. He paused, listening. I don't care what time it is. This is an emergency. While they waited, Natasha kept talking like a dam had finally broken. It wasn't even that hard. You're so trusting, James. So naive for someone so smart. You actually believed I loved you. You believed I wanted a future with you. All I had to do was smile and agree and pretend to care about your stupid dreams. And Trevor? How does he fit in? Trevor owed money to some dangerous people. I offered to clear his debts if he helped me. He knew exactly what substances to use, how to make it look natural. Your heart condition made it perfect. Everyone would think you just had a cardiac episode. Tragic, but believable. Zara felt sick. She had seen calculating people before, but nothing like this. This was cold, planned, methodical. James's phone buzzed. He looked at the screen and his face somehow went even paler. A $5 million life insurance policy, taken out 3 months ago. Triple indemnity if death occurs before the wedding and appears natural. Smart planning, right? Natasha actually smiled. I thought of everything, except for her. James looked at Zara. You didn't count on someone actually paying attention. Someone who cared enough about a stranger's life to risk everything. Bad luck, Natasha shrugged. It happens. Trevor and I would have tried again. We had a backup plan for next week during your business trip. The casual way she said it made Zara's blood run cold. This woman would have kept trying until James was dead. Is there anything else? James asked quietly. Any other lies I should know about? Oh, plenty. The friend who introduced us? I paid her. The chance meeting at the gallery? Planned. Your business partner who vouched for me? I slept with him first to get information about you. Every single thing about our relationship was calculated. James sat down heavily, like his legs wouldn't hold him anymore. 2 years. I wasted 2 years on someone who saw me as nothing but a target. Not wasted, Natasha corrected. I provided companionship. I was good at my job. You got a beautiful woman on your arm for public events. It was a fair trade. Until you decided to murder me. Details. Natasha examined her nails, completely calm now. You billionaires die all the time. Heart attacks, plane crashes, accidents. No one really questions it. The world moves on. And I'd have been the grieving fiancé, crying beautifully at your funeral before flying to Paris with my inheritance. The security chief was recording everything on his phone. This is a full confession. I don't care anymore, Natasha said. My lawyer will claim emotional distress that I was upset and said things I didn't mean. Rich women don't go to jail. We have too many connections, too many friends in high places. We'll see about that, James said. He looked at his security chief. Call the police. Real police, not private security. I want her arrested tonight. And find Trevor. He's probably trying to leave the country by now. As security moved toward Natasha, she looked at Zara for the first time with real focus. You know, in another life I might have admired you, throwing away your job, your safety for a stranger. That takes guts. Too bad guts don't pay the bills. No, Zara said quietly, but they help me sleep at night. Natasha laughed, a harsh sound. Enjoy your moral superiority. I'm sure it's very comforting in your tiny apartment while you struggle to pay for school. It is, actually, Zara replied. Because I'm not you. The police arrived 15 minutes later. Real detectives, not just uniforms. James had called in favors and people had responded quickly. When you're a billionaire, even late-night emergencies get immediate attention. As they led Natasha away in handcuffs, she was still smiling. You'll regret this, James. My family has lawyers who eat people like you for breakfast. Your family? James called after her. I already called them. Told them everything. Your father said, and I quote, "We don't have a daughter anymore." For the first time, Natasha's confident mask completely shattered. She looked back. Real fear in her eyes now as the police took her away. When the room finally emptied, just James and Zara remained. The wealthy billionaire and the medical student who had saved his life. The silence stretched between them. Thank you, James said finally. Those are the most inadequate words in the world for what you did. But thank you. You already said that. I'll probably say it every day for the rest of my life. James looked exhausted, older than his 38 years. How did you know, really? What made you do it? I didn't know. Not for certain. But I saw something wrong and I couldn't ignore it. That's all. That's everything, James corrected. That's the difference between people who watch bad things happen and people who stop them. 3 days had passed since the gala. 3 days of police interviews, lawyer meetings, and news crews camping outside James's building. The story had exploded across every media outlet. Billionaire nearly poisoned by fiancé. Medical student saves life. The headlines were everywhere. Zara sat in James's penthouse office, still feeling out of place despite having been there multiple times now. The view overlooking the city was incredible, but she couldn't stop thinking about her apartment with its broken heater and leaking faucet. 2 different worlds. They found Trevor, James said, walking in with his phone to his ear, trying to board a flight to Singapore. He's in custody now. That's good, Zara said, though she still felt uneasy. Something about this whole situation didn't feel finished. The police want you to testify at the preliminary hearing. Both of you. James's lawyer, an efficient woman named Patricia, entered behind him. It's in 2 weeks. They're building an airtight case. Natasha's family hired the best defense team money can buy. Patricia continued. They're claiming she was emotionally unstable, that Trevor manipulated her, that her confession was given under duress. The usual strategies. But we have video footage, Zara said. We have her confession recorded, we do, but wealthy people rarely face real consequences. We need to be prepared for a fight. Patricia looked at James. There's something else. We've been going through your accounts. Natasha had access to several of them. I gave her access months ago, James admitted. I trusted her. She's been making transfers. Small amounts, nothing that would trigger alerts. But over the past year, she's moved nearly $3 million to offshore accounts. James closed his eyes. She was robbing me the whole time. Not anymore. We've frozen everything we can find. But there's a problem. Patricia hesitated. Some of those accounts are linked to other names. We think there might be more people involved. More people? Zara felt cold. You mean this wasn't just her and Trevor? We're not sure yet. But the financial trail suggests she had help setting this up. Professional help. James's phone rang. He glanced at the screen and his face changed. It's the detention center. Why would they be calling me? He answered, putting it on speaker. This is James Blackwell. Mr. Blackwell, this is Warden Phillips. I'm afraid there's been an incident. Natasha Pierce tried to bribe a guard to help her escape. The attempt failed, but during the confrontation she became violent. She's in the medical unit now. Is she all right? James asked, and Zara heard genuine concern in his voice despite everything. She'll be fine. But she was saying some concerning things. Threats specifically. Against Miss Zara Williams, Zara felt her stomach drop. What kind of threats? She claims she has friends who will make sure you never testify. That accidents happen to people who interfere in things that don't concern them. We're taking it seriously. I wanted you both to be aware. After the call ended, silence filled the room. Patricia spoke first. We need to get you protection, both of you, but especially Zara. If Natasha has connections we don't know about, this could be dangerous. I can't afford private security, Zara said. I can barely afford rent. You're under my protection now, James said firmly. Whatever it costs, whatever it takes. You saved my life. I'm not letting anything happen to you. I have my own life, James. I have school, I have work. I can't just hide in a penthouse. Then security will follow you everywhere. To class, to work, to the grocery store. Non-negotiable. James's tone left no room for argument. Over the next week, Zara discovered what it meant to have a billionaire worried about your safety. 2 bodyguards followed her constantly. A driver took her everywhere. James even paid off her rent for the year and deposited money in her account to cover school expenses. She protested, but he refused to listen. "You lost your catering job because of me," he said. "Let me help." But it was more than just money. James started calling her daily, checking in. They'd talk for hours sometimes about everything and nothing. He wanted to know about her life, her dreams, why she wanted to be a doctor. She learned about him too, the real him, not the public image. He was lonely, she realized. Surrounded by people, but truly alone. "I don't know who to trust anymore," he admitted one night over dinner at his place. Zara had tried to refuse the invitation, but her bodyguards had literally driven her there. "Natasha fooled me completely. 2 years and I never saw it. She was good at what she did," Zara said. "That's not your fault. I should have seen something. Some sign. Sometimes people only show us what they want us to see." They were sitting on his balcony, the city lights spread below them. It was strange, Zara thought. How comfortable she'd become here. A month ago, this world would have terrified her. Now it just felt like James's space, and James had somehow become a friend. "Can I ask you something?" James said. "Why medicine? You're clearly smart enough to do anything. Why choose one of the hardest, most expensive paths?" Zara was quiet for a moment. "My little brother died when I was 15. Asthma attack. We couldn't afford the right treatments, couldn't get him to a good hospital fast enough. I watched him struggle to breathe and I couldn't do anything. I promised myself that day that I'd learn how to save people, that no one else would have to feel that helpless." James reached over and squeezed her hand. "He'd be proud of you." "I hope so." The moment was interrupted by James's phone. Patricia's name flashed on the screen. It was nearly midnight. That couldn't be good. "Patricia, what's wrong?" "Turn on the news. Channel 7 now." James grabbed the remote and switched on the television. A breaking news banner scrolled across the screen. Trevor Chen found dead in holding cell. Apparent suicide. But it was the next part that made Zara's blood run cold. The reporter continued. "Police are investigating whether this was truly a suicide or if someone wanted to silence Chen before he could testify. Sources say he had been negotiating a plea deal that would have implicated others in the plot to murder billionaire James Blackwell." "Others," James repeated. "There are others involved." Patricia's voice came through the phone. "Get to a safe location. Both of you. If they killed Trevor to keep him quiet, they might come after you next. Especially Zara. We're already at my penthouse. Top floor, best security in the city. That's not enough. These people, whoever they are, have connections. They got to Trevor in a holding cell. Do you understand what that means?" Zara did understand. It meant someone with serious power and resources was involved. Someone who could reach into a detention center and eliminate a witness. "I'm calling the FBI," Patricia said. "This is beyond local police now. Don't trust anyone except the security team you've personally vetted. I'll be there in 20 minutes. After she hung up, James and Zara looked at each other. "This is bigger than Natasha," Zara said. "This was never just about her wanting your money." "No," James agreed. "This is something else. Someone else." His head of security, Ryan, appeared at the balcony door. "Sir, we've detected unusual activity in the building's network. Someone's trying to hack our security system." "When?" "Right now. They're good, but our IT team caught it. Should we go to lockdown protocol?" "Do it. No one gets in or out without my direct authorization." Ryan spoke into his radio, and within seconds, Zara could hear the building's security measures activating. Metal shutters began lowering over the windows. Additional locks engaged on the doors. "James, I should leave," Zara said. "Being around me is putting you in danger." "Are you kidding? You're the target here. They want to stop you from testifying. You're staying right here where I can protect you. You can't protect me forever. Watch me." An alarm suddenly blared through the penthouse. Ryan's radio crackled with urgent voices. "Sir, we have a breach on the service level. Someone's in the building." "How is that possible?" "You just locked everything down. They were already inside. They've been waiting." James grabbed Zara's arm. "The panic room, now." They ran through the penthouse, Ryan leading the way. Behind them, Zara could hear footsteps, voices. Someone was coming. The panic room was hidden behind a bookshelf in James's office. Ryan pulled a book and the wall slid open, revealing a reinforced steel door. He pushed them inside. "I'm staying out here," Ryan said. "If they get past me, that door will hold. Police are 3 minutes away. FBI right behind them." The door sealed shut with a heavy thunk. Inside, the panic room was small but well-equipped. Monitors showed different angles of the penthouse. Zara and James watched as 3 figures in black appeared in the hallway. "Who are they?" Zara whispered. "I don't know, but we're about to find out." On the monitor, Ryan stood his ground as the intruders approached. One of them pulled out a phone, showing Ryan something on the screen. To Zara's shock, Ryan lowered his weapon and stepped aside. "No," James breathed. "Not Ryan. He's been with me for 5 years." "James, they got to him. Just like Trevor. These people have reach." The 3 figures moved through the penthouse systematically searching. They were professionals, Zara could tell. Every movement was coordinated, practiced. Then one of them stopped in front of the bookshelf that hid the panic room. Slowly, deliberately, he pulled the same book Ryan had used. The wall slid open, revealing the steel door. The man knocked, almost politely. "Mr. Blackwell," a voice called through the door. "We need to talk. It's about your father." James stared at the monitor in disbelief. "My father? My father died 4 years ago, did he?" The voice through the door was calm, professional. "Mr. Blackwell, my name is Agent Morrison with the FBI. We've been investigating your father's death for 3 years. We need to talk, but you need to let us in first." "How do I know you're really FBI?" James demanded. "Check your phone. Agent Patricia Holmes is calling you right now. She'll confirm who we are." James's phone was indeed ringing. Patricia's name on the screen. He answered cautiously. "Patricia? James, they're legitimate. I verified their credentials. Let them in. This is going to be hard to hear, but you need to know the truth." With shaking hands, James entered the code to unlock the panic room. The steel door slid open. 3 people stood there, all holding FBI badges. Agent Morrison was a tall woman in her 40s with tired eyes. Behind her were 2 other agents, both armed but non-threatening. "Thank you," Morrison said, stepping inside the panic room and gesturing for her team to secure the penthouse. "I'm sorry for the dramatic entrance. Your security guard, Ryan, has been feeding information to dangerous people. We had to make it look like we turned him so they wouldn't suspect we were onto them." "You're saying Ryan's still loyal?" James asked. "He's been working with us for 6 months, good man. But we needed to move tonight because things are accelerating." Morrison pulled out a tablet. 4 years ago, your father supposedly died of a heart attack while on a business trip in Singapore. Correct? "Yes, it was sudden. He was only 62. It wasn't a heart attack. He was murdered. Poisoned, specifically. The same method someone tried to use on you 3 days ago." Zara felt the pieces clicking together in her mind. The same people who were after James now killed his father? Not exactly. Your father, Mr. Blackwell, discovered something he wasn't supposed to. His company, which you inherited, was being used to launder money for an international crime syndicate. When he found out and threatened to go to the authorities, they eliminated him and made it look natural. James sat down heavily. "That's impossible. I've run that company for 4 years. I would have found something. They're very good at hiding it. But we've been watching, gathering evidence. And then Natasha Pierce entered your life. She was part of this?" James's voice was barely a whisper. "Not initially. She really was just a gold digger who saw you as a target. But when the syndicate learned you were getting serious with her, they approached her with an offer. Kill you, take your money, and they'd make sure she got away with it. In exchange, they'd get control of your company shares through a shell corporation she was supposed to sign them over to." "But I stopped her," Zara said. "At the gala," Morrison nodded. "You did. And that's when things got complicated. The syndicate couldn't let this go to trial. Natasha knew too much, and so did Trevor. That's why they killed him and why they wanted to eliminate you, Miss Williams, before you could testify. So all of this, my father's death, Natasha, the poisoning, it's all connected? Everything. Your father's murder was the beginning. They thought with him gone, they